In Washington, we met with an American photographer, Chris Turner, who has been visiting the tribes along the Afghan-Pakistan border for the past 2 decades. Turner used his tribal connections to visit the region twice since the 9/11 attacks. He claims that he met with Al-Qaeda members and even took pictures of them.
So who is this guy?
He's an Al-Qaeda operative who was quick to tell me that's what he was. In fact,
How did it come up?
As soon as I sat down, the very first thing that happened to me is he pointed an AK-47 at me and said, "You have to leave now."
Here is Chris Turner wearing the turban and long beard typical of the tribal areas, accompanied by the man who identified himself as a member of Al-Qaeda. Even more surprising, locals told Turner he was running a drug operation.
He was there to organize and supervise the heroin trade, which has become a major line of revenue for these people.
You're convinced he was Al-Qaeda?
Oh, he said he was. He made it very plain to me. One of the first things he said is, and I'll never forget the word, he pointed his finger and said, "Al-Qaeda number one, Al-Qaeda number one." And and Al-Qaeda has unlike the image we have of them here, they're highly thought of in this tribal territory. Bin Laden was Robin Hood. He stood up against the mighty American machine and brought it to its knees. And to these people, he's a hero.
With Al-Qaeda's ranks scattered from Afghanistan, law enforcement is using intercepted communications worldwide to track the terrorists' moves and try to unravel Al-Qaeda's structure. The trail leads to Karachi, Pakistan. Karachi is a new hub for Al-Qaeda. It's deep within this mega city of crumbling apartment blocks and non-stop traffic that key Al-Qaeda members have gone underground. U.S. investigators say they have evidence that even Saad bin Laden, Osama's 22-year-old son, is hiding here.
Karachi is a mega city of 12 million people, and I think 60% of these people live in slum areas, which are not very well policed, which is very difficult to go there, and not much news comes out of that place.
Like the caves of Afghanistan, the perfect place to hide. Karachi is an important base for Islamist militant organizations that cooperate with Al-Qaeda. For Westerners, it is probably the most dangerous city in the world today. Since 9/11, the city has been the scene of 2 separate attacks against the U.S. consulate, which killed 14 Pakistanis. The murder of journalist Danny Pearl, and the bombing of a bus outside a Sheraton hotel, which killed 11 French defense contractors. Pakistani authorities have already arrested hundreds of militants.
So it's only a matter of time that we reach these odd groups which have come to various cities of Pakistan. We have been rounding them up, and they have been handed over to the U.S. interrogators.
An important breakthrough came 1 year after the 9/11 attack. After a 3-hour gun battle, authorities secured a building and captured at least one big fish, Ramzi bin al-Shibh, former roommate of lead hijacker Mohammed Atta, and a coordinator of the September 11 attacks.
Of course, they were able to get a lot of computers, laptops, diskettes, lots of information.
But the man believed to be the overall planner of the September 11th attacks narrowly avoided capture during the raid.
We came to know about that man later on, that this particular individual living in such locality is Khalid Shema. We came to know later, but by the time we reached there, he had vanished from there.
Yet another escape for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Al-Qaeda's operational commander, and the uncle of Ramzi Youssef, who masterminded the first attack on the Trade Center in '93. Mohammed was part of a '94 plot to assassinate the Pope, and he is linked to an Al-Qaeda cell in Singapore that was planning to attack American targets in 2002.
Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was an individual that the U.S. government was very much interested in after the Manila air plot to blow up 12 airliners over in the Far East in the early 90s. He's definitely a big-time player for al-Qaeda.
Mohammed, who speaks 4 languages, traveled the world on al-Qaeda business using more than 36 aliases. He studied mechanical engineering in the United States in the mid-1980s. A man with good connections, even to certain governments, according to investigators.
I knew about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed in 1998 because it was an open secret this man had been protected in Qatar by the foreign minister and the emir. The FBI knew about it in 1996. They sent an FBI team out to arrest this guy. The emir said, oh, he's not here. In fact, we found out he was an employee of the government of Qatar.
The Qatar government has not commented on the allegations that it helped Khalid Sheikh Mohammed to escape. For nearly a decade, Mohammed worked invisibly behind the scenes. But last year, he came forward to give an interview with Ramzi bin Al-Shib to Yosri Fouda of Al Jazeera Network, telling him exactly how they planned 9/11.
I received a phone call from someone who said that he was a good doer. And he asked me if I was thinking of preparing something special within my program, Serial Al-Ghaya, Top Secret, for the first anniversary of September 11th. And if so, he would be able to give me some exclusive stuff for the program.
Fouda accepted the offer and traveled to Karachi, awaiting further instructions. A few days later, he was taken to an undisclosed location.
In one of the rooms inside, there was another guy sitting on the floor, surrounded by laptops and mobile phones. By then, I started to get the idea, but I was not absolutely sure. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed asked me, recognized us yet? I said, you look familiar.
Fouda would stay in the apartment for 48 hours and learn about the thinking of the men behind the September 11th attacks. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed told Fouda that at one point, al-Qaeda considered striking U.S. nuclear plants.
It crossed their mind, striking at a couple of nuclear facilities, according to him. So it's there, on the table.
Fouda is convinced that al-Qaeda's leaders are planning to pull off another attack in the near future.
They have no regrets. They have no remorse. They would do it again, basically. The question is whether or not they are capable of doing it. To me, it sounds like it's just a matter of time.
And indeed, al-Qaeda operatives have already carried out numerous attacks since 9/11. April 2002. The moment they killed 11 German tourists in an historic synagogue in Tunisia, captured on an amateur videotape. October 2002, a French oil tanker attacked off the coast of Yemen. November 2002, in Kenya, a bombing of an Israeli-owned hotel. A pattern of attacks that suggests al-Qaeda's remarkable long-range planning.
Prior to September 11th, I think al-Qaeda organization in Afghanistan had contingency plans. I think certainly key planners and probably individuals left that country or scattered even further outside the locale of maybe where they were at one time. So this is a very typical pattern. They did not sit there and wait and see what the reaction was before they, in fact, spread out.
Al-Qaeda's agents have now spread out from Pakistan to points around the globe. Next, how Al-Qaeda has infiltrated Southeast Asia.